my name is Nancy Love, and I'm speaking to you from Southern California on behalf of the Planet Peace Project. This, in case you're wondering, is my cat Pim, and it reminds me of my five cats. Um, I'm going to read something to you today. It is on LinkedIn, and I'm putting it on medium.com. But I want to read it to you because some of you might just want to listen to it while you're doing the dishes or driving down the road or doing something else. So here it goes. It's about animal rescue and more than half a century of commitment to that effort. Over the Fence, Tales of Animal Rescue in Los Angeles and beyond. Ta-da! So find that on LinkedIn. It would be under Nancy Love, and the link to it will be posted under this video. I wrote this today to acknowledge the people in the animal rescue community who are helping me now. I wrote it last year. I'm deeply honored and profoundly moved. The sort of profound victimization I've suffered at the hands of criminals in recent years has robbed me of everything from the ability to even stand or walk to at times my hope for a brighter tomorrow. Sidebar, I've been battling human trafficking in Los Angeles and beyond uh, for about 14 years, and those criminals can be pretty nasty. They've taken a lot from me, but they're not going to take any more. Motivation, talent, education, and experience have not been enough to get me out of this miasma, and I obviously can't climb out of this deep hole alone. It has taken great maturity to face the fact that someone with MS, heart disease, and severe injuries, one who hasn't been able to walk for 2 years, has to start mastering a lifelong independent nature to achieve the humility she requires to ask for help. Decades ago, my graduate studies in psychology prepared me for this. Sometimes even those among us who are almost pathologically independent are injured, diseased, or aged and no longer have the capacity to do everything alone. I have been in rescue since the 1960s. You might ask, how could that be, since I'm only 63 now? As a small child, the second day I could walk independently, I ran. The second day I could walk, I ran. To place my tiny body between a neighbor man's fist and a puppy, uh, he was brutalizing. He was on his knees, had just slugged this tiny golden retriever puppy in the chest with his big strong fist while screaming at the terrified dog and was about to land another fistful. I had been able to walk for less than 24 hours, but I ran. I shielded the dog with my own chest so that when the man's fist plunged forward, it stopped only 2 inches from my body. He stopped short of hitting me, but started yelling at me and my parent that I shouldn't have done that because he almost hit me. I said, "You shouldn't have been beating your dog, mister." A discussion ensued in which I am told I seemed like a baby going on 80. I shamed him up one side and down the other, reducing that jerk to tears. He started, he started crying and said, "I will never hit this dog or any other animal again. The Bible said, and a little child will lead them. And today you've led me back home to myself, to be the man I should be, instead of the man I've become." This incident incidentally became quite legendary in my neighborhood. I went over my first fence at the age of 6. A cat who lived in the yard of a house by my school was being starved and neglected. I would bring cat food from my house and feed the creature before and after school. "Thanks for sharing your food," I say now to the oversoul of my beloved first cat, a yellow tabby whom I ingeniously named Cat, defending that as his existential name. But that wasn't enough. The day I saw the owner open the back door and abuse the cat, I knew I had to do more. So after school, I, the most law abiding kid in the world, climbed over their fence and put the skinny black cat in my coat, carrying him home like I was cradling a just won Nobel Prize. He followed me home, I announced defensively. It was worth a try, and my people did let me keep him. But that night a frightening thing happened. A policeman came to our house. He harshly said I had stolen the cat and demanded I give it to him so he could return it to what I knew was neglect and abuse. I read that dude the riot act. At the tender age of 6, I vehemently, passionately, tearfully told that grown man with a badge and a gun that what I had done should not be illegal, and that what those people were doing to that cat should be. Once again, I made a grown man cry. The officer, now with tears in his eyes, took the cat ever so gently from me and said, "Little lady, I agree with you. I'm going to chastise the hell out of those people, pardon the expression, and go by there frequently. If I see any evidence of further abuse or neglect, I'm charging them with animal abuse, and I'm bringing this cat back to you." When I went to school the next day, I visited that house and talked to the people to explain why I had done what I had done. I befriended them on behalf of the cat, and they actually asked me for advice on how to take care of him better. His condition improved visibly. Soon he became fatter and glossy and calm. Never be afraid to go over a fence if someone is being abused on the other side. It's one of the most important things I or anyone else could say. Never be afraid to go over a fence if someone is being abused on the other side. Over the next several years, my passion for compassion became legendary in the hood. People called me the baby Buddha or Christ in a skirt on a glorious and unforgettable summer day when I was 8 years old. I was cleaning my room when one of my sisters called out, "Nancy, there's an animal at the front door for you." I shook my head, planning to chastise her. We were just little kids. How dare she call my friends animals? But she was being literal, not critical. A total stranger was at the door with a Pomeranian and handed it to me as I approached. "Hi, you don't know me, but I found this dog and don't know what to do with it. I asked around and everyone said to bring it to you because you will know what to do and it will be safe in your arms." I fed him, bathed the dog to deflea him, made posters by hand. This was in the age of black and white TV. Fax machines hadn't been invented yet, much less home computers and printers. I enlisted my small army of sisters. We drew a map and each had an assigned territory. Armed with artsy handmade flyers, we marched around that neighborhood like a veritable army of love. We posted the found dog posters on telephone poles and on bulletin boards at the library and the market. I found the dog's owner, and that was it. That woman had helped me find my calling. I was firmly on the path to rescue. Many times over the next several years, I heard someone shout, "Nancy, there's an animal at the front door for you," and I always knew what to do. Now, tragically suffering from the onslaught of disability brought on due to criminal aggravated assault, I am relegated largely to the realm of armchair rescue, or perhaps it's called wheelchair rescue in my case. Networking online and through texts and phone calls for animals in need, circulating petitions and making phone calls to authorities to advocate on behalf of animals worldwide. The puppy and my heart. 2 years ago, I heard a Boston Terrier puppy yelping in the street. The baby had already been debarked. He was being ignored and almost kicked out of the way by people walking by with a damaged. He was being ignored and almost kicked out of the way by people walking by. With a damaged spine and legs, I crawled to the cat food. I didn't have a wheelchair yet. I put some in a bag. 40 feet across the living room I crawled, and then crawled across the porch, down 9 stairs and into the street. I couldn't find him. He was already gone. If I could still walk, I could have gotten to him before he either went toward the busy main street a block away or into the neighborhood. I couldn't help him in time because I cannot walk. It will forever haunt me, the sound of his yelping, the sight of ignorant souls walking by, ignoring him. Many were staring into their cell phones, not even looking him in the eye. The feel of the asphalt on my hands and knees as I crawled all around trying to find him, and the feeling of abject failure because I couldn't. Being on my hands and knees in public, holding a bag of cat food with my teeth, taking it out long enough to call for the tiny creature. Crawling back into the house, crying my heart out, because I felt I had failed him, but only because I can't walk anymore. Yesterday morning, I heard some men outside yelling curse words at each other. I chose not to intervene, but when I heard them yelling, sit, sit, if you don't sit down and stay here, I'm going to kick your head off, followed by the sick sound of a dog's yelp that went straight through my ears to my heart, I knew I had to intervene. I crawled to my wheelchair, rolled onto the porch, and asked the men how they were doing. I heard a dog crying out, was everything all right? Try not to approach a violently angry person with your own, even justifiable rage, for it can be like throwing fuel on a fire. They immediately calmed down, said the dog was all right, and brought a 10-year-old pit bull lady dog that I recognized as belonging to a local handyman from behind a truck for me to see. I said, I'm great at building bridges between factions, so if you need any help with the dog or each other, I'm here. They demurred, saying that they would be good. I stayed outside a while longer, then went inside and notified the police and Brenda Barnett, head of Los Angeles Animal Control. Unable to walk or stand, I risked my safety to intervene in a fight between two grown, enraged men. There was a dog at risk. My heart gave me no choice in the matter. Throughout my life in Texas, I did every rescue thing alone. Sometimes I had to ask veterinarians for credit or maybe neighbors if they could foster, but I was pretty much a lone ranger of rescue. But whoa, once I arrived in Southern California 15 years ago, all that changed. I fell in with, primarily through Yahoo rescue groups and then Facebook, an immense cadre of hundreds of experienced, dedicated rescuers, the likes of which I had never known. Suddenly I was not alone. If I found an animal or needed to get one out of a kill shelter, I had a group of comrades who would come running to help with fostering, pet food, help with vet bills, and more. When a stray cat I found and was feeding had kittens, that would be Silverbell. When a stray cat I found and was feeding had kittens, those would be Alma Shanti, Love, Bhakti Yogini Love, and Starlight Zen Star Love. My cats. Yeah. I had almost no money and was in an acute phase of multiple sclerosis. I called my excellent friend Joyce Newman to ask for cat food, and she enlisted yet another army of love. Bags of dry food with cash tucked inside appeared at my front door. People made appointments to bring me cases of canned food and all manner of supplies. One man, I'll call him Robbie, knowing that I was a professional writer with a bad computer and a commercial photographer without a functioning camera, brought and gave me both. He also came loaded with pet food and a pet carrier, and took a photo of me surrounded by kittens, one just pouring herself up my shoulder. It's blurry and fuzzy, but so was I by then. It's one of my favorite photos of me ever taken. Hey, that's the photograph I showed you. This is what Robbie took of Silver Bell, um, Bhakti, Starline, and Ashanti is crawling at my shoulder. Then, the second day she could walk, one of the kittens, Ashanti, ran to me. The second day she could walk, she ran, tripping her mother, Silverbell, who was approaching me because I was carrying her more than food. Ashanti was not yet eating solid food, so I knew it was me she was trying to get to, not breakfast. She ran to me. It reminded me of how so long ago I too had barely learned to walk, but ran to someone, a golden retriever I loved on sight. I want you to know that the three daughters of Silver Bell still surround me now. I wrote this on I wrote this in 2019. I have to get Silverville and the daughters and Golden, their brother, back out of foster immediately. I want you to know that the three daughters of Silver Bell still surround me now in this room as I write, and one just jumped into my lap as I wrote this. Oh God, I wish that were true right now. Their now senior citizen mom sleeps nearby, and we share our lives with a huge golden Bengal boy I rescued out of a parking lot in Koreatown. That would be Golden Akasha. I owe the fact that I am surrounded by this much fur and love to all these benefactors, including a wonderful couple in rescue who probably prefer to remain anonymous, but make absolutely sure that no matter how bad my situation gets, I always have cat food and supplies. They are like the sun in my sky. For years, those people supported my rescue efforts, and when I could walk and drive, I always had a pet carrier, pet food, leashes, and everything I needed to rescue the stray animals that I found rather frequently because of that company. I'm also deeply grateful to Laura Valdivia, a woman who came running in her pajamas at midnight with a humane trap. The cold winter night, I found the Bengal Akasha, who was then a small kitten who'd just been abandoned with his mother and brother in a gutter in the rain. I called the mother and brother Catalina and dreamed with her, but I couldn't keep them. Now Golden is the size of a bobcat and sleeps spooned up against me or wrapped gracefully on my pillow around my head. I have to get Golden back. I have to get Silverbell, Golden, Ashanti, Starlight, and Bounty back. Now, Laura Valdivia is now a producer for one of the most successful heart-filled shows on television, New Amsterdam. I'm so proud of her work there and in rescue. If I ever get the Planet Peace Project going, a nonprofit that I want to start that's dedicated to literally help save the world, I hope to have several types of yearly awards. And one of them very well may be the Laura Valdivia Come Running to the Rescue Award. Another woman I know runs a very active Yahoo group and specializes in rescuing special needs animals, creatures who are injured or disabled, elderly or ill. As a human with special needs and disabilities who struggles to help animals still, I have called to her attention several cats and dogs in need who are blind or injured or suffering from advanced age or disease. You see, I might hear of an animal that I don't know how to help, but if I can try to get the animal to Jan Reese, I know that she will know what to do. It will be safe in her arms. January Smith does so much good in this world. Please know that I am a rescuer through and through. The very fiber of my being, every ounce of my immortal soul resonates with compassion and concern for others. So go over a fence and help if you can, for there is someone suffering on the other side. And know that on my worst days, I am still trying valiantly to rescue. Nancy Love, the Planet Peace Woman, www.planetpeace. And here is a call to action. Sometimes one must accept a duty and the calling of a higher order when thinking of the future. For our choices define not only our own lives, but our generation. When you join the Planet Peace Project, you are accepting a destiny that will yield the full measure of your talent and your genius. Do it to know true fulfillment. Do it to help save the world. Thank you for your attention. Om Shanti Love, Bhakti Yogini Love, Golden Akasha Love, Starlight Sinstar Love, Silver Bell Samantha Love. I will find you.